This tutorial is going to be about effects and transitions. So we'll start off with transitions. I'm not sure where your effects are going to be. Sometimes they're over here, project tests, and there's that double arrow that appears that you can see where they are. Sometimes they're by effect controls up here. Again, that might be that double arrow or one of these tabs. The one that I have, it was up here. So in the newer version, there's just an effects tab, and when we clicked on it, then it appears over here. So yours also might be a bar over here. What we're looking for is, for effects, we're looking for audio transitions, audio effects, and video transitions. So for audio transitions, really what we're doing is I'm a big fan of constant power between clips. So a transition is from one to the next, right? So we click on it and drag like anything else, and you place it on the audio between two clips. So now it's going to fade nicely from this clip to this clip. I do this between all of my clips in everything that I do, but where it really comes in handy, if this is like a quiet clip and then this is like a street, like cars or whatever, you don't want it to be like quiet and then it just goes and just starts going. You want a little bit of a transition, but you might not want this much of a transition. So you can also zoom in and you can shorten it. So you just click one side and you can shorten it down, or if you click on it, you can move it to where you need it. And there's your audio transition. Video transition, exact same thing. So video transition, we find one. So I'm going to use a simple dissolve right here, a cross dissolve. Actually, I'll do something a little bit more interesting maybe. So let's say it's an additive dissolve. So again, you just drag it on between the two video clips, and each transition does something different. So that's an additive dissolve. Again, you can change the length of it and maneuver it around where you want it. If you double click, you can also change and set the duration, and sometimes there's some other features over here. So I'm going to get rid of that one, and I'm going to use, let's say, a slide. I'm going to use a push slide. So if I put a push slide in, you can see that it's pushing one clip. This clip is pushing this clip out of the way, and if you double click on this, or just click on it and you go to the effect controls for that transition, you're going to have some options. So you can set a border width. So if I increase this border, you can see that it's adding a border between them, so you can have a little bit of of a separation there. And you can change that border color. So let's say we want to change it to some sort of dark green there to make it kind of match our footage. And if you want it to go the other way, then you can click that, and then you can see that now it's pushing from right to left, instead of, if when this was off, it was pushing from left to right. Okay, so that's audio and video transitions. Now for effects, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on audio effects. Most of these you will never use at all. And if you want to know what some of these are, you're going to have to ask me, or you can look it up on YouTube. But for example, I'm going to use, I'll find one here that's a high pass filter. So if I drag the high pass filter onto a clip, you're not going to be able to hear this very well. Maybe I'll increase the audio gain here, pump it up to 16, see what I can get out of this. And if you can hear that, listen to the difference between. So what I did with a high pass filter does is it actually eliminates a lot of the bass out. But just like anything else, if I drag something on, or any clip that I have, I can go over to effect controls, and look, now I have high pass that's been added into here. And so I can adjust this now. So this is how much, like the level that it's cutting off. So this is set really high. So all lower bass frequencies are kind of made to sound really tinny. So maybe I just want to get rid of a little bit of, this is how you can get rid of some wind. So the wind will have like a, you can get rid of a little bit of that bass out of the wind. You can go down to 10 as the lowest, and you can go up to, let's say, wind, like, 100, 200 is kind of a good number for wind. And if we listen to it now, you can hear that it's a little bit of a higher pitch, but it doesn't sound terribly tinny, so it's okay. So you can just adjust that to, that would be how you would do an audio effect. You drag them in, and each one has its own, thing. So parametric EQ, if you drag that on, it would add to this as well, and then there would be individual parameters, and you'd have to just test them out to see what each thing kind of does. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of, and if you don't want it anymore, you just boom and delete it, and it's gone. Okay, video is the same way. So we got video effects, and let's go to let's do a color correction, and you drag in a actually I'm going to do one that I like that's kind of, so fast color corrector. It's obsolete, but it's still there. You drag in fast color corrector onto here, and watch what happens. Nothing. So that's because it adds it to our video effects. So it's our other ones we're adding to our audio effects. Fast color corrector's there, and it has all these things for you to play around with. But until you do anything, it doesn't change your image. So fast color corrector, I can just make my footage look, a little bit more blue, or like matrixy, green, or warm it up a little bit. So you can mess with color there. You can change your saturation, so bring it down to black and white. Let's keep that one at black and white. Then you can increase your contrast. So let's say so this makes it a little bit more like film look, maybe, if you want. And so any of these things just do something. So if you have highlights that are really blown out, you can bring this one back and protect some of those. These are just base ones, though. There's much better correction tools than this, but this one kind of has everything like really fast in it to kind of mess with your footage. So that's what it'd be for any of these. And do you see how when I typed in fast in there, if I went into these other ones, you might be clicking going, hey, where's all my effects? Well, you got to get rid of this first and then go back in, and then all of them are back. So just when it's time to put in your effects and transitions, just try and just see which one kind of is interesting. So maybe you go to transform and go, I'm gonna flip it, a vertical flip, and just drag it on. Sometimes they do something automatic. So this one, obviously it flipped it automatic. And if we went to that one, the automatic ones, if we went to it, there's not much else that you can do with it. We can mask some things in there, but that's too complicated for us right now. So it does it automatically because you can just vertically flip it or not, right? So I'm going to get rid of that.